I am Gepwin, and welcome back to another Minecraft point 13, 1.13, rather, tutorial on elevators, because I've been kind of obsessed with figuring out this elevator thing ever since they changed it so that mobs no longer float in water. They, in fact, sink. Zombies, skeletons, I think just those two. I can't remember if creepers do, but they're not important right now. They sink in water now, which is annoying because it breaks the old mob elevators. And I did a video on this design over here a few days ago, where if you throw a hostile mob into this, they jump down into fire, then jump back up into the water stream to put themselves out and get pushed up into the elevator. But people were pointing out a few problems that I failed to consider. One, random damage from the fire makes the fall damage that you would want to use this thing for very difficult to figure out. You wouldn't be able to drop your mobs a precise distance, give them a precise amount of damage, and use it in something like an XP grinder. The other thing that was pointed out is this does not function as a zombie sorter. Now, anyone who's used a zombie spawner knows that these annoying little buggers, the baby zombies and the jockeys, come out and... I don't remember these things being here. Go away. The jockeys and the baby zombies wreck your system. Because you can have one that works fine, like that one for adult zombies, but baby zombies get into it. They can go through the one block gap. They can kill you. They are annoying little guys. So I wanted to find a way to both sort the zombies from the baby zombies and also get everything into the water stream without needing the fire block. So if you are unfamiliar, mobs no longer float in water, but what you can do is put a piece of soul sand at the bottom of a long column of water, and that now makes a elevator. Anything that you put in this bubble column is going to get pushed up through the water at rocket speed. And I have found a quick and easy way to get mobs into that elevator without needing any fire or extra pushing, and it is this little system here. It simply drops them. So, zombies and skeletons now sink. So, if you suspend water over signs with a large gap beneath, they sink slowly through as they float through the water. So, if I have this, you have a source block, and then you have 4 pieces of water coming out. So, source block, then 1, 2, 3, 4, with the 5th block being a gap. 6th block is where you put your pillar. Then, starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks down from the water stream. So even with the water stream, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 down from the water stream level here. You put your zombie in, it slowly sinks through the water. It continues a little bit of forward momentum as it drops through this final bit here. That makes the shoulder touch this little water elevator. It shoots the zombie up into your secondary water stream. Now, the very, very important thing to remember here is you actually need a 2-block wide space to carry your zombie up, which means you're going to need to fill the rest of your elevator with either signs or trapdoors. I used both. I've tested it with both. Both work. Signs or trapdoors to prevent the water in the elevator portion from spilling over. But it's very vitally important you have this 2-block wide gap. Otherwise, your zombie would get stuck on a block when it goes through the elevator. It would hit the side, go whoop, and yeah, just get stuck there. So it's very important that these are signs or trapdoors that you have flipped up. Both function. That then takes your mob up into this contraption. You can ignore a lot of this because this is here to deal with jockeys, which is something I'm going to get to in a second. Now, one of the other advantages of this system is, if you will notice, when a zombie goes through the system, it continues sinking slowly as long as any part of it is touching the water. Now, one thing is that baby zombies are in fact significantly smaller than regular zombies. They are half as tall, which means they're going to remain in the water for about half as long. So if we spawn in a baby zombie, you'll notice that it sinks through the water at the same rate, but the minute its head leaves the water, it drops, meaning it's dropping a good 2 blocks short of where we drop the larger ones for the water elevator, meaning that your baby zombies are never going to reach your water elevator. They're going to drop right around the 3rd block here, and I have laid out a nice little magma hole for them to fall into and die. Die like the annoying little things you are. Ankle biter. I just love watching this, honestly. So, 3 blocks in, dig a pit, and your baby zombies will be trapped down there to die a slow, horrible, painful death. Finally is your chicken jockeys, which do mess up things a bit. They're a little rare, so some of the things that they mess up, not as important. For example, they don't like going through the water stream very well, and they can get in the way of other zombies and things. So you see here, just the way that they function can kind of mess up the system. It's unfortunate. You might suffer a little bit of losses there if the jockeys wind up not going into the elevator like this. But when the jockeys do go into the elevator, we can use the fact that chickens don't sink. Chickens and non-hostile mobs will still try to float on the surface of the water. So, we can use that to our advantage if we can get any of them to go up the freaking elevator. Oops, let's just spawn in a few of them here. Come on, come on. Demonstration purposes, please. Please, pretty please. There it goes. So, one of 2 things will happen when your baby zombies wind up on this level. 1, they separate out from the chickens like we just saw, in which case they wind up on this bottom layer here, which has the magma blocks on it. They will not impact this top layer of water because this top layer of water is 1 block up. It's on the 2nd block, which means that large zombies hit it and sink in slowly. Small zombies hit it, sink faster, wind up down here where they're no longer interacting with the water and are on the magma blocks. Now, as you just saw, that one there ran backward and fell into the thing here. Fell right into the pit, which works out fine for me. I honestly had more of these jockeys going through the elevator when I was testing this than I'm seeing here. This seems like an unfair representation. There we go. So sometimes they'll separate out. If they don't separate out, they will stay on their chickens and they will continue going on top of the water. So what I've done here is the water here is for large zombies. Oh, large zombies normally won't hit that when they come up the elevator. But you see, the large zombies will sink down and will get pushed along even though they're actually touching the floor by this point. So what I've done is I've continued the water along the top up right to where I want the drop to be. And then one past that, I have a magma block for chickens and the zombie jockeys to land on. I need to stop missing that. I do apologize. Come on, jockeys. Stop turning around. Stop it. So, when jockeys go up here, the chicken will bounce along on the top of the water, go past the drop hole, and land right on your magma block here. Who is dying? There we go. Or they're going to separate out. Your baby zombie is going to wind up on this part of the platform here, where they are going to die. Yes. Now you may be asking yourself, why do I have this whole drop hole down here to kill the baby zombies if they could also get killed by this one up here? Well, the one up here introduces some problems that I do not like but are acceptable given how rare the jockeys actually are. And it is this: if you had a baby zombie up here, there is a possibility that the larger zombie floating through could push it along and you would still wind up with baby zombies in your system, which, since that's the entire thing we're trying to avoid, could kill you if you're running an AFK farm or something similar. So there we have it. This is the basic design. I'm going to build a little copy of it a few blocks over just so you can get the basic idea down, but we're not going to be able to test it as well because I had to set up these command blocks in order to test out, you know, the zombies and jockeys, the baby zombies and jockeys. But I'll show you how to build it really quick so you can get a general idea. Whoops, there we go. Aha. So the first thing that you want to do is grab yourself some soul sand and decide about where you want your elevator to be. In this case, I want it to be right there. Now I'm building this a little bit higher up than that one because I'm building this one at ground level. I was experimenting with that one, which is why it's sunken in a little bit. You can understand that, I hope. Now let's grab a little bit of glass and build up a little bit of a elevator around where we want this to go. Build up, there we go, shafts on both sides and at least a block on the back. You need to surround this one on 3 sides and then also build up these 2 sides over here going 1 block out. I'm building this whole thing out of glass so that you can see the zombies as they move through it, but of course you can build it out of whatever you like. Then going 1 block out from where you have your soul sand, place signs all the way along the edge here. I do like signs a little better than the trapdoors because they have a slightly slimmer profile, but as we've seen, as I've said, either one can work, and I've tested with both. Try to make it the same all the way up, because if you alternate, if you do some signs and some trapdoors, there's a distinct possibility that the trapdoor, being very slightly thicker than the sign, could still catch a mob as it goes up the side of the elevator here like this. It could make the mob stick. But if you have everything the same, either all being signs or all being trapdoors, the mob will be impacting the side at the same level and won't wind up getting stuck as it gets pushed up the elevator. So, next thing you can do, just grab yourself a bit of water, and you can put the water just right at the top of your elevator, and the new water mechanics will take care of the rest, filling all this in with source blocks and letting the bubbles flow. You now have a functioning elevator. Whee! Which is just really fun, and I can't wait to build a bunch of player elevators as well. I've just been very focused on the mob stuff right now. Now, over 2, you're going to build your little pit area. This is where your baby zombies are going to be. So you may want to put in something in this pit, such as a magma block, that will make them all die. Make sure that it's low enough down that the zombies aren't going to be able to get out. Now, if we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, right there, and 5, this is the level that our water will need to go along here. So fill in this entire thing also with signs. I'm sorry, it needs to be 5 over, I believe. Let us just double check that. From here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Fill in this also with signs, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then this section here is where we're going to have our water source block. So just fill in the back there, build up some walls to keep your water from flowing out, as well as maybe some walls on the sides to keep your zombies in. You are likely going to be digging this out instead of building it up, so just try to keep in mind these kinds of dimensions. Then place a block even with the signs. Put your water on top of the block itself. The water should flow across the signs like that. Now you should have a functioning elevator. Let's just give it a quick test here. Zombie goes over, zombie falls, zombie gets pushed into the elevator. There we go. Go away, zombie. Now this will function fully as a elevator / sorter for baby zombies. Now, if you want your zombies to go anywhere up at the top here, we need to build out a little other section for them. So we can build out a little bit in the back here. And we want this water stream to travel kind of 1 over this one. So build out about as far as you want your water stream to go. I took mine out the full 7, and one of the reasons that I did that was to incorporate the kind of chicken thing that I have there. So we'll just build this out and build it out along the bottom as well. Using your signs again, you want to lay out a section one above where your elevator is. So start right there where your elevator is, and one back from that, because the zombies are going to be kind of half in and half out of this water. You want to make sure that you have one back, and that is where your source block is going to start. Oops, I accidentally put it onto the sign. Don't do that. That's where your source block is going to start, is one back from where your elevator is. But as you can see, your source block actually doesn't flow across signs. And that's a little bit of an issue sometimes. What you want to do to make your source block flow across the top of signs is you simply need to put your source block on top of a solid block. And then obviously you should have blocked off the walls of the sides here so that the water has some place to not, get trapped or to flow off the sides. I mean, there we go. So this is the thing that's going to push your zombies or whatever over. The thing that you need to do now, break this block, replace it with a sign so that this water is entirely on top of signs. If you want to kill any of the little chicken jockey dudes that come up here, replace these first 3 glass blocks with magma. Then build over by 2, right underneath where your water ends. So about 7 blocks out, right where your water ends. That's where you want your drop hole to be, so you can build that down a little bit. This is where your zombies will drop. The big zombies will wind up dragging their feet along the floor right here. They'll impact on this side, and they will fall down. Your chickens are going to continue on. Your chickens and just chickens. I'm sorry, not your smaller zombies. Your chickens are going to continue being pushed on and wind up right there on top of this magma block. Now over there I built it 1 down, but you can have it even because the chickens are going to stay on top of the water. If you have it even, there's absolutely no chance that they're going to come back and fall. Baby zombies possibly. I haven't tested it fully. After the chicken dies, the baby zombie is going to stay on this block and die, but it's probably going to keep running back and getting pushed out and back in. It doesn't appear that the zombies take any damage from impacting a magma block sideways, so I feel pretty confident that this design will work. We can test it out though. So we put in our zombie. Zombie gets pushed over. Zombie then gets pushed straight up into the water stream up top, gets dragged across. They land just after those 3 blocks. They hit the side of this magma block, which does not hurt them, and then they fall down. And they caught fire because there's no shade, not because of the magma block. Also, unfortunately, our pit for our baby zombies has filled up with water because of that little mistake we made earlier. Water is so much more dangerous now. And there you have it. This is, in fact, your fully functional zombie farm. Build this as far up as you would like it for how much fall damage you want to give your zombies. I don't have that memorized. You can look that up for how much you want them to fall, for how many hits you want them to take, or if you're sending them to a different grinder or whatever. And this here is going to separate out all your baby zombies. Let's just give it another look here. Baby zombie goes through, falls, and dies. Adult zombie just slowly sinks through until it gets pushed over into the elevator. 2 things to note. Every now and then a zombie does just fall down here and doesn't push all the way into the elevator. It's a little bit rare. Something can mess it up. It'll stay right there. The other zombies will usually just fall on top of it, kind of bounce off its head and go into the elevator, so it's really no concern. And eventually, in my experience, that zombie winds up wandering into the water stream anyway, sooner or later. That generally happens if your zombies are really, really, really bunched up. They'll wind up interfering with each other a little bit and messing the thing up into some degree. So you could have a bit of a loss if you have a ton of zombies all like really on top of each other. So just make sure that your zombies don't get too bunched up and you should be fine and mostly lossless. And how often are your zombies that bunched up anyway? So yeah, just don't let them get too bunched just like that. But as you see, the baby even got through when it's way too bunched, so I guess be a little careful of that. You could expand this pit as well. If you're having trouble with this, just expand this pit like 1 more. But this, like I said, only going to happen if you have like a ridiculous amount of zombies running through. So I think you'd probably need something like a, I don't know, you'd need 4 or 5 zombie spawners at once. If you have this level of zombies, you've got more problems, honestly. Overall, though, this design works really well. I hope this has helped you guys figure out what to do here. If you have any ideas to improve this, you let me know down in the comments. I would love to see them and maybe implement some of them in a future design. If you build this in your world in some kind of cool way, I would love to see that too. And, you know, innovate, just build upon other people's things. It's how progress happens in gaming. It is iterative. So, you know, steal this design, use it, your own thingies, improve it, whatever. Don't randomly hit glass when you're gesturing in your outro. Oh, like I said, I hope that you find this useful. I am Gepwin. If you liked this kind of video, then leave a like so I know to make more things like it. And if you really liked it, then you can, of course, subscribe to see all of the things that I do. Once again, my name is Gepwin. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.